Logan Roy, Jamie Spears, Firelord Ozai, Nintendo. 4 very different entities, but they're all on my Mount Rushmore of abusive fathers. And while attempted filicide is probably not as bad as getting contractual cold feet, it's still heartbreaking to witness Daddy Nintendo's ignorance and greed towards the Super Smash Bros. Community. Oh, what could have been. No cease and desist, pot bonuses that aren't low-value gift cards, and perhaps an updated re-release of a 20-year-old game loved by so many.
And are they gonna? He dropped a bomb on us. Melee HD is coming.
Oh my god!
The concept of a modern Melee port or remake is one of the community's most controversial topics. Problem is, no one can agree on the best way to do it. But with the announcement of a real Nintendo-supported circuit for Ultimate and Melee to a resounding, I think it's time to revisit this debate once and for all. But there's trouble afoot. An ancient evil with promises of fortune and prosperity. A trickster out to destroy that which one loves the most. It's probably nothing. The last satanic prophecy said your favorite players were actually terrible people. Today we're going to be looking at all the possibilities to finally determine the ideal Melee HD. I've broken down all the important facets of the game that one might want to update into 5 distinct categories. We'll explore each of them to figure out what needs facelift and what needs a gallon of Botox. First, the character roster. At the time, 26 was a lot of characters, even if like 5 of them were second-rate clones. Still, with Ultimate having a staggering 89 characters, it's kind of hard to go back to less than 3 times that amount. And certainly there's some Nintendo fans out there who would lose their shit if they can't play Lucario, so what if Melee HD added some new characters? We already have a proof of concept with the Wolf mod, which was received pretty well. Perhaps there's a lot of modern Smash fighters that would feel at home in Melee's warm, inescapable, chain-grabbing arms. Hell, why not make the legendary rumor a reality and add Sonic?
This can't be happening.
This is the best match I've ever watched.
This can't be right. How long?
Yeah, maybe don't do that. Back in 2009, Bobby Scar infamously ranted about Jigglypuff, calling her a cheap gimmick, among many other
Jigglypuff cries when you hit her, friggin' bitch.
colorful things, and regardless of whether or not that's true, gimmick has been Sakurai's special sauce for most of the newcomers in recent Smash games. I hope you want your burger with a side of meters and one-hit KOs. Any new character added to a Melee HD is guaranteed to shake things up. Maybe in a good way, but maybe not. So in the ideal Melee HD, the character roster must remain as is. Okay, so if the characters are going to stay the same, what about their movesets or frame data? This is a great opportunity to finally balance the cast after 20 years without patches. Maybe Bowser can stop eating glue, or Fox's insane up smash can be weakened, or maybe Marth's down air can be switched to a meteor instead of a spike. Yeah, Melee does have one balanced patch, the PAL version, which was released half a year after NTSC, but despite that, we still use the original version, even in Europe these days. That's probably because America is the dominant region, and if there's one thing we hate more than change, it's admitting we got it wrong. Still though, there's genuine arguments to be made over whether or not Sheik's worst nightmare is better for the game, and that's with Nintendo doing the balancing. For a community which, after 2 decades, still can't agree on the best character, I start to doubt if there are any objectively good changes to be made. And if there are, how do we know? People used to think Puff was terrible, and a balance patch wasn't what changed that. Even in the anarchistic dystopia where we get to make the changes, who could be trusted to make the right call? Not you, not me, not even Practical Tass, and definitely not Leffen. Melee has so much going on underneath its skin, it's impossible to know what's good until it's presented spread eagle at a top 8. And all of this is before considering starting to fuck with the physics engine. So, at the expense of getting to play Kirby unironically, the balance will also stay the same. While Ultimate has triple the characters of Melee, it also has quadruple the stages, or 11 times depending on how you count. With illegal stage list that's been whittled down to just 6 over the years, we could really benefit from getting a few more. Imagine Genesis Grand Finals on Smashville with all the hype that comes from a single acoustic guitar. You know, even though Ultimate has a plethora of potentially legal stages, most tournaments only use less than 10 of them. If Melee had all of Ultimate's stages, would they even be used? If Ultimate players are allergic to fun, Melee players would go into anaphylactic shock at the thought of playing on WarioWare. We could also explore custom stages. Mods have already paved the way, but we run into the same problem we had before. Who would make the stages? Who would approve them? Can we trust the modders to be unbiased, or would the Fox Illuminati put the platforms just barely out of Marth's up-tilt range? In a world where some people think Final Destination should be banned, there's some comfort that comes with being forced to deal with a little jank. Sure, Mute City had to go, but if you get rolled out on the grass transformation, that's on you. If there's any modern feature that a Melee HD is begging for, it's online play. Somehow, in an act of divine intervention, Slippy's online matchmaking has already set the gold standard for netcode in fighting games. It would be a dream come true to have online as good as Slippy in a Melee remake. It would also be a dream come true to eradicate unranked Falcos, but here we are. Even if there was solid netcode, Nintendo's online infrastructure is about as dated as the documentary's vocabulary, and I'm not about to pay $30 for the rollback expansion pack. If Melee HD were to have shitty online, and it would, we'd cause a divide between Wi-Fi warriors on a Nintendo console and divas with trench coats full of controllers still playing on CRTs. Perhaps it would be best to not have any online at all. That way, new players can't have their experience ruined by dropped inputs, lag switches, or down smashing peaches. And when they're ready to take off the training wheels, they can do it the old-fashioned way, next to a sweaty nerd with AoE stench tactics. Finally, let's talk about single-player content. What could be wrong with adding new modes that never get played anyway? Well, single-player content has been lacking in Smash since Brawl. Even Ultimate's World of Light is just event mode with a map. There's a lot of charm to Melee's adventure mode, despite being horrendously unfinished. And I fear what would happen if Nintendo tried to revamp it. There's a non-zero chance it'll be 10 rounds of Smash Tour with CPUs, and that's just sad, man. So you know what? Single player will also stay the same. Okay, that's not supposed to happen. Oh, I made a pentagram. Okay, hang on, I read about this. Okay. Book of Jason 5:34, and the Lord said, "For the Vulpine, my most faithful servant, I bestow unto you the gift of nasty schmoove." No, it's not it. Okay. Book of Salt 12:9, beware the false prophet who comes to the kingdom of Melee offering fruit of poison for your firstborn. I'm putting up Melee as a sacrificial lamb, but what will come in its place is not the second coming, but a plague. No matter how you shape it, take away the new features, forget about updated graphics, even just a straight up port of Melee will bring about the apocalypse. Perfection does not exist, and to seek it is to deny the truth. With a Melee HD, something will be wrong. New players will turn to it while old players reject it. Big tournaments will be forced to use the new version, but no one's gonna show up because it won't have UCF. Modders will dig deeper underground, crafting their own versions, one with single button wave dashes, the other with Meta Knight. Suddenly, vanilla Melee is as vanilla as furry incest, and Nintendo's iron grip will rip apart the scene from the inside out. You know, we're lucky that Brawl was such a departure from Melee. If it was even a little like what the community wanted in 2008, Melee would have been left behind, and we'd end up like the Street Fighter community with even worse support. Melee is a game which, despite its flaws, still manages to provide endless depth just the way it is. Anything that fucks with Melee's core turns it into something that isn't Melee. Nintendo has been nothing short of horrible to us, but with that neglect comes a freedom enjoyed by few. We don't have to play the newest game. We don't have to put up with Nintendo Switch Online. We can just play Melee. Despite years of cease and desist, broken promises, and Splatoon ads, it's ironic, but perhaps the worst thing Nintendo could do is give us exactly what we want.
Success!
Well, Glad that's settled. We can finally put this behind us and never talk about making changes to Melee ever again.